Hello, welcome to Harweel, one of PDO's most important innovative plants, where we operate at the forefront of technology to assure PDO and Oman's long-term production future. Because of the nature of the fluids we're working with and the pressures we operate at, some of these processes are potentially highly hazardous. To ensure that everybody who works and visits Harweel returns home safely, we have developed a set of comprehensive procedures that, if followed, will minimize any risks. This video sets out the essential guidelines. Please follow the simple rules and ensure that this site remains a safe working environment.
Harweel is in the southwest corner of Oman, 80 kilometers west of Marmul. PDO has been producing from this cluster of fields by conventional methods since 2004, but the site is now pioneering the use of a new technique for enhanced oil recovery, or EOR as it's known. The technique is based on injecting sour miscible gas at high pressure, up to 500 bar, into the reservoirs. The gas dissolves into the oil, and the resulting mixture flows more easily into the production wells.
The gas we get from reservoir here at Harweel is known as sour gas, which means contains high level of H2S. H2S is highly flammable and toxic gas. It's heavier than air, therefore it tends to settle lower in the ground. The concentration of H2S at Harweel is 6%. This is equivalent to 60,000 ppm. And when we start injecting miscible gas, this concentration of H2S will rise. It can go as high as 20%, which is equivalent to 200,000 ppm.
When thinking of this figure, you should bear in mind that levels of just 50 parts per million can cause irritations in the respiratory tract. At 650 parts per million, a single breath knockdown may occur. You should always use an H2S detector when you're on the site, but remember that humans can smell H2S at very low levels, below the level that would set off the alarm on an H2S detector. Be aware of smells all the time you're at HMPS, and if you notice any unusual ones, report them immediately. We recognize that because of the high pressure and high sour conditions at Harweel, there is an inherently high residual HSE risk here. To minimize this risk, we have defined two operating zones, red and yellow. In this induction, we'll be dealing mainly with the yellow zone. The red zone is a small section of the plant to which access is restricted. Anyone entering the red zone needs to use a fixed breathing air system. They will also need additional training, and they'll have to take some extra precautions which we won't cover in detail in this induction.
Please, when you come to Harweel site, bring with you hard hat, safety glasses, coverall, safety boot.
You must obey the safety signs which tell you what PPE you need to wear. And remember that in noisy areas, you must wear ear protectors. Before you enter the site, you must also check that you have a valid H2S awareness and escape card. You'll enter the site by way of a turnstile gate. To get in, you'll need to use a proximity entry card, which you'll be given at the end of this induction. This card will allow you to access the Temporary Safe Refuge Area, TSR2. The building is painted orange for easy recognition. Unless you're told otherwise, this is the place you should return to in the event of an alarm. When you first enter TSR2, you must present your ID card and place it on this rack, with the photo or name tag facing out. This will record that you're in the Harweel main plant station, which will help us to identify any missing personnel during alarms and musters. If you are planning to enter any part of the station other than the control room area, you must carry the minimum safety equipment, such as an H2S detector like this. You will be issued with this equipment here, and you must ensure it's been checked before you enter the site. You should bump test your H2S detector every day before you use it. You'll also need to put on a rig walker. This is the Harweel escape set, and it's issued to all staff entering any part of the plant. As with all your equipment, you must check that it's in working condition. You also need to make sure that you've got the right type of mask. If you have facial hair, you must use a cowled mask. If, in extreme conditions, the TSR itself is compromised, you may be issued with a conventional set and a standard fast mask. Please follow the instructions given by the site supervisor or muster checker. If you're not sure how to check or use any of the equipment, you must ask for advice. To get to the control room and permit to work office, you walk down this fenced route. Only the permit holder or applicant needs to go to the control room, not the whole work party. The door has a CCTV recognition system, and the control room operator controls access by a remote operated switch. These are the key points to remember. Wear the appropriate PPE. Register yourself as on-site in TSR2. Observe all the safety signs. If you're entering the plant, make sure you are given a personal H2S detector and escape set. If you're planning to go into a red zone, you'll need extra training, and you'll have to take additional precautions that are not covered in this induction. The Permit to Work office is located in TSR1, the central control room area. It plays a key role in HMPS's safety systems and is the control center for access to the site and for all work activities carried out here. If you have a vehicle for offloading, you must obtain an access certificate from the Permit to Work office before you bring it on site. The permit displays PDO's life-saving rules. You must comply with these. The isolation display board indicates, among other things, the main plant equipment, from the wellheads, manifolds and process plant through to the oil and gas export facilities. We use the Permit to Work system to evaluate every task and to ensure that before anyone enters any part of the plant, all the risks have been assessed and the necessary controls have been implemented. This display board is used as a visual aid when isolating sections of the plant to ensure there is always a safe working environment whenever we are carrying out any maintenance activities on site. Depending on the level of risk from H2S, there are two zones, yellow and red, which are identified and controlled by the Permit to Work system. These may change according to operational conditions, so make sure you know where they are before you go on site. Ask the permit coordinator, the person who's in charge of the Permit to Work system. In the red zone, additional precautions are required, such as the use of the Cascade air system. Before you enter, you'll be given an additional induction. Obtain a permit to work before starting work. Make sure that it's the right permit for the work you'll be doing. Follow the Permit to Work procedures. Observe the PDO life-saving rules. Know where the red and yellow zones are. Once you've received a Permit to Work or Access certificate, you will be given permission to go on the site. Please follow the permit coordinator's instructions on how to do this. If you've not already done so, identify the technician in charge of the area where you'll be working. As a permit holder or person in charge of the workforce, you must ensure your H2S card and those of your team are displayed on one of these racks before you leave the central control room. These will show not only that you're on site, but also the particular area in which you're working. For safety reasons, we can't allow cigarettes or other smoking materials, lighters or matches onto the Harweel site. The following items are also banned on the site: mobile phones, personal radios, or any electrical equipment that contains its own power source, and remote transmitters for car alarms or central locking systems. If you have any of these items with you, please leave them in the banned items locker. If you want to take any temporary electrical equipment with you, you must identify it on the PTW form. Any electrical equipment covered for use in line with the Permit to Work system should be tested by the electrical department before it's taken on site and used. You should never go out on the site alone. Always go with a colleague and use the buddy system.
Attention, attention all personnel.
The whole Harweel site is equipped with the most effective devices and procedures to make it safe for everyone who works here. If an alarm sounds, you should stop work immediately, hold your breath, and put your escape mask on. If you're clean-shaven, this should be a fast mask. If you have facial hair, you must use a cowled mask. Replace your hard hat, check the direction of the windsock, and leave the area via the best escape route. In some cases, depending on the wind direction, this may not be the shortest. It's most important to stay upwind or acrosswind of the emissions. If you're using the Cascade fixed breathing apparatus, you should stop work and disconnect the air hose. Then check the windsock and leave the work area. Go at once to your dedicated muster point. This should be TSR2 unless otherwise stated. If you're working in the HCS area, it will be TSR3. If your escape to your designated TSR is compromised, then leave via the alternative exit gates around the perimeter. East and west gates have additional escape sets to evacuate via the perimeter. Notify the control room of your location as soon as possible. As you enter the TSR, remove your ID card from the rack and turn it face in to show that you've mustered. Once you're at your muster point, please stand in lines of 5. You will then be counted by a muster checker. It's very important that you stay calm and quiet and listen to instructions. If an evacuation of the TSR is required, follow the muster checker's instructions. When the alarm stops, wait for the public address announcement to confirm that it's safe for you to return to the site. Check with your supervisor before you start work again, as conditions at the site may have changed. When an alarm sounds, stop work at once. Hold your breath and put your escape mask on. Go to your designated muster point. Stay upwind of emissions. If the route to your designated TSR is compromised, use the alternative escape gates around the perimeter. Wait for the all-clear sound and PA announcements. If the TSR has to be evacuated, follow the muster checker's instructions.
Thank you very much for taking the time to watching this short video. I hope you now understand how PDO manages its health, safety and environment. By following these rules, you will help us making Harweel a safe site for yourself and for everyone.